maybe.
We did.
Printing aliens and knowledge people for high stations
You do this like
but most times a good thing to allow us to burn fuel to avoid getting it. Gets out however, it doesn't mean it doesn't get shut down. It still needs to dodge this. So he's on 3, and he can make it and he didn't.
Me again, yeah. Yeah, new releases.
Whereas these guys
it's definitely. I'll start off as a one-off, and then I'll probably do like extra videos because the sharp one was 5 of those. And this is what's happening now for
mostly the resin releases. I think some of them already.
yeah, I think
This is the
was it like working on the engine room? I suppose because usually to me anything
before they get like
Morning. Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
we need to keep cutting him out. It's like he just there at the back.
You didn't impression you're a fan of BBC Warriors. If you want any take pictures of pages.
I've never met it anyway. Why isn't mine like that?
I always suck down.
It wasn't joking. Everything is in these phones. It's not 80 years.
which is done very well into
The next challenge is getting all onto a computer, which is going to take forever.
I just think it's about outside the long term. Second victory, seeing it's like no solution.
Is this the World War I one?
So literally have
Exactly.
Email me I have no control over what ones to make. Protection for the bit.
Yeah, and it's like, well, if it's going to be a separate game rather than an expansion massive, so make it a separate game again.
You can still use it.
Is that everyone? Everyone?
It's going to be a bit slapdash because we're trying some new formats because the floors are big and we have very little space, so we might repeat ourselves, we might be able to tell the machine how long to inject for, how tightly it holds the mould, how hard it sucks, because it injects into a vacuum.
I'm not worried about it, it's long enough, I'm sorry.
Not the green one! That's it. So what it's going to do now, it's going to go through different stages, take some room, do your focus, and then allow some of the guys at the back to do it.
Okay. Well, welcome to our probably 10th open day. It's our third one at this new site, which is our new Warlord home, and will be our Warlord home for the next at least 6 years, we plan. Normally it's me and Paul Sawyer doing this bit, but as we know, Paul's very ill and couldn't make it today, which is a real shame. But I've asked Rick to stand in for him, and I want you to give Rick a really tough time when he comes in. That'll teach him. And there's nothing you can't ask, obviously, it's just, it's a Q&A, I haven't got any presentation for you, it is quite Q&A really, and so we might as well kick off now, and Rick can join us when he's woken up, and on the way, definitely. So anybody with any questions? I hope so, otherwise it's going to be a long 45 minutes.
As content providers, is there anything that you want as a business for us to concentrate on that aren't meeting your needs?
Content suppliers, we're trying to crank up more Black Powder and Hail Caesar books, because so many of you have got books inside you, if you know what I mean, that we're going to try and, the plan is to try and get one book a month out, and if it's more than that, that would be even better. Obviously everything is bolt action-tastic at the moment, it has to be, but it doesn't mean that we should ignore the other systems that we've got. So the best person would have been to talk to Paul about that, but Ian Strickland or Pete Gosling, who's coming here later on today, they're the people to grab, and they'll give you some more specifics.
Is there any plans to do update Conflict now that version 3 is out?
Conflict, it's a massive, it's now filling our head. Now we've launching Bolt Action 3 today, it's going to be all guns blazing for Conflict. Andy Chambers, who's doing a seminar, is it the one after? No, at 1 o'clock I think. He's the man to ask about Conflict, but it's we're going to put massive effort into that. I think it's going to be a great game.
Make a hole, make wide, make large. Make a hole, make large wide. Come on in.
Hooray! Here he is.
Here you go, boss. I told you I'd find him.
Thank you very much.
Right, get him!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and hello.
The one and only.
one and all.
Mr. Priestley. So yeah, Conflict, we're going to go mad about Conflict. It's going to go some crazy ways. Can't wait. It's always a great game, and the Clockwork Goblin guys did a great job on doing that game, bearing in mind they had real jobs as well. So, but now we can take it further with full-time writers.
So-
with the conflict one, just are you sort of seeing it as at the moment it's its own little standalone game, or are you thinking of issuing it as sort of a campaign book for Bolt Action version 3?
It is it's more a game on it in itself. I think it's going to survive on its own 2 feet.
So just on that, and I don't want to steal the thunder from later, but conflict at the moment actually is kind of similar to Bolt Action 1 first edition. So is it going to be an entirely new rule set, or is it going to be similar?
I shouldn't really steal it from Andy, but it'll be similar.
Perfect.
But it won't. It will be similar, but it'll be on. What we like about Bolt Action is the dice system and the pinning stuff. That's really cool to those games. I'll be very surprised if it didn't have that in it, for instance.
Yeah, that's what we like as well.
Yeah. What else is going on now? Mr. Priestley's joined me. So that would be really cool. I mean, there's so it's yeah, we're definitely that's one of the books that's finished.
100 Years War.
100 Years War book.
In process, I think. Just starting.
An Arthurian book, which looks particularly splendid.
Yeah.
That's very nice. And then a Boer War book, a bit weird, but nice. And then Crimean book as well.
Have you got a schedule in mind, kind of a release?
They're all up there. Those are the ones that if I can remember them, they're coming out within 7 months. I know the way it works when you get a bit old. But lots more eventually. Oh, there's a samurai one as well. Samurai one, which doesn't float my boat, but so many people said, "Oh, fantastic!"
That Pike and Shot.
Yeah, that's right, Pike and Shot. So that's going to be really good. So lots of books, which is just great.
And figures to go with it, because I think upstairs you had some nice Boer War for people to do this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
there's some new figures and new releases.
Yeah, I mean, Boer War is a niche of a niche because it's one I wanted to write, so I did.
Which system did you pick for the Boer War? Because I remember you and Paul having a discussion whether to put it in Bolt Action or Black Powder.
What a great question. Which system is it, Bolt Action or Black Powder? Because it's 1900, isn't it, effectively? Exactly on the cusp of when it all changed. Well, I've written it as Black Powder, but I've got Dylan, who writes all our books, suddenly said, "Can I help you finish that Boer War book? Because I haven't quite finished it off." And he's going to put in alternative Bolt Action rules, so you can play it either way, which is a really good idea, I think. It'll be the first time we've had one of those. So small skirmishy game with Bolt Action rifles, literally, or a bit, the larger battles of the Boer War. So I think it will cover both.
Will that open the way then for World War One, Bolt Action,
World War One. We nearly did World War One Bolt Action. Can you remember that?
Yes, and then I said no because it's tedious. As I recall.
I'm glad you came late to this one. The opening moves were far from tedious. Very interesting battles, the first ones, and the last ones, as anybody who knows anything about.
And the Middle East.
Middle East,
Africa.
Yeah, no, there's a lot there really. There was a Canadian group who did some rules for it and sent them in. They were very good. They were very well covered, I thought, actually.
So you mentioned a minute ago about 100 Year War. Is that a possibility for Epic?
Would you like some tea, Rick?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Possibility of Epic in
Hell Seas 100 Year War.
Well, one day we'll do it all.
Yeah, it's there's a manuscript in for 100 Years War. I think it's about to start on it. That might be out of your 7-month window of understanding.
No, the general was asked whether it was being Epic.
Oh, okay. Oh, Epic Hell Season. Same game. Same game, but small.
Just new figures.
So yeah, no, that'd be good to do, gentlemen. There.
What's your plans for the 2000 AD cover?
I don't know. If I'm honest, that was Paul's speciality. So he does all the negotiations with what are they called?
Rebellion.
Yeah, Rebellion, and we were certainly planning a Rogue Trooper game. It's the big one which we've never done, and
to do a French army.
Yeah.
But for 1940.
Yeah.
It's an interesting army.
It is. It's sold well. The French have sold very well.
Yeah.
Quite versatile army.
With respect to your new digital app, is there any plans to make singular squads stats rather than just an army list?
I haven't got a clue to the answer to that.
But we know who will.
Yeah, Alessio. Grab Alessio when he comes in. He's the tall one.
What release in the next 12 months are you most excited for?
Conflict 47. It's going to be bloody awesome. Andy Chambers, as we know, is a fantastic writer, and we're giving him a lot of rope, so to speak, to make it fairly crazy. Yeah, Conflict. I think and then you.
Rick, do you want to
speak up?
Sorry, Rick. Would you like to move Warlords of Erewhon to Epic?
Warlords of Erewhon?
Yeah.
Just in case anyone doesn't know, Warlords of Erewhon is a kind of little side project that I strong-armed Warlord into publishing. And it uses the bolt action system, but for a skirmish fantasy war game, or a warband game, really. To be honest, Warlord just did that as a favour. I don't think Warlord are at all interested in doing fantasy. I think that was something which got beaten out of us over 20, 30 years at Games Workshop, wasn't it? So it was kind of like an indulgence, and I created a game and a book that I thought would stand alone. I've added a website if anyone's interested, which has got more army lists on it. And it's a sort of a, here's an idea, here's some rules, here's ways you can change it, here's a points value system, in fact. Have fun with it, and then kind of, that's it. There's no real support for it. In terms
Epic
of
fantasy would be nice. You know, I think people.
Well, I'm up for it, John. If you, I can't see it myself, but yes, it could be. I mean, what Epic fantasy is
it's Warmaster.
Warmaster.
Yeah.
And actually,
what you did.
Yeah. And rather than Warlords of Erewhon, if I was to do that again, I would go Hail Caesar. In fact, I started writing a Hail Caesar fantasy game at one point. Had a word with the powers that be at Warlord. Looked to me and said, "Oh yeah, that'd be great. We'll put that at the bottom of the pile, even below John's."
The old Paul Sawyer trick.
The old Paul Sawyer trick. So I thought, what's the point? You know, there's no, you can't maintain as a games writer, as a designer, you can't maintain enthusiasm in the face of a 3-year time schedule. It doesn't work. So I gave up in the end. I thought, well, maybe one day I'll do something with it. And when I came to doing Warlords of Erewhon, I actually used a lot of the magic system that I developed for Hail Caesar, or Hail Frodo as I was going to call it. I should get away with that. So there was an element of crossover there, and actually, you know, it's piss easy. It's just a stat exercise, really. There's
You're not allowed to say it's easy.
It's just a stat exercise. I mean, and then lots of crunching. You know, lots of tedious writing stats, writing the army lists, making sure everything's reasonably in whack. You know, all that. That's not piss easy. But the actual conceptually, it would be simple. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, anybody. Right. There's a gentleman there.
Yeah. How we found the rollout of Acton Panzer? Do you have any more plans for it?
We do. Roger Gerrish, who is also in today, who's him and his Mike is the other writer, the two writers. Roger's in. He's just put in he's asked to do a supplement for it, and its working title is Iron Coffins, which gives you a clue that it's probably Western Desert. So we can include all the Italian stuff, all the dreadful British tanks, and it will also cover the Blitzkrieg as well. So some rubbish German tanks as well, and some deadly French tanks, which will make the Germans think about it without for a change. And equivalent of a Char B coming down the road like a King Tiger in 1940. So
shot C.
Yeah, yes, that would be good. That would be all those multi-turrets. We'll have to think of rules for that. So yeah, it's going to be early war, and it's also going to cover Japan. So we make about 350 armoured fighting vehicles, and the brief will be, let's see if we can get a card for every vehicle that we make, just for the lunatics who want to field whatever obscure Japanese vehicles they can think of making. Or so yeah, that's the next one. Midway next year. Who else have we got? Any other victims?
I'll have a go. I'll try and frame it as a question.
partially more appreciation really. With the app coming, I'm going to sort of ask about sort of the philosophy going into design and what the sort of goals were for it. More, not to name anything else, but sort of really favourable sort of pricing structure in there and including all the rules and everything together built in rather than kind of locking some away. What were your sort of design sort of thoughts when going into design?
I don't understand apps. what is it of which you speak? You have to grab Alessio again for that, because he's all over that sort of stuff, and we'll give you chapter and verse. But I wouldn't know what one was, but so I can't pretend otherwise. But Alessio will let you know if you grab him.
Which helped with play testing and developing the new edition, and doing a lot of work on the army books. I'll let you do the bit about the army books maybe later.
Yeah, maybe.
The special presentation.
Depends how good they are. Ominous.
It worked.
Here we go. Release schedule. So,
which I'm sure will hit 100% perfectly punctually.
Q1 next year. Armies of Germany. We've dropped a couple of nuggets. I said, like Alessio said, we've got a design philosophy with the army books now. I can kind of allude to it as I've done a lot of the work on them. That when you see that, that is going to be the